Here we go.
Okay, hello, everybody, and welcome to Monday Night Team Zoom. My name is Harlequin Murray, and if tonight is your first night being here, welcome. We appreciate you being here, and welcome to the team. I'm one of your senior team leaders, and I get the honor and privilege of introducing Miss Ellen Winn, who is our overall team leader. She's my enroller, my personal enroller. But for those of you who are new here tonight and don't know who Ellen is and don't have any idea what her background is, I'm going to give you a little bit of details about that as I turn my phone on vibrate so it doesn't ring on me. But Ellen grew up in the Atlanta, Georgia area, or just outside of Atlanta, Georgia, in a town called Dallas. And she grew up on a family farm, which is a beautiful property. But anyways, whenever she got out of school, she went to work in the restaurant industry and worked her way up. She ended up working for Domino's Pizza and was a senior manager, or not a senior manager, but she was a manager and did regional stuff, but also training. And then after a while, she was like, you know what? I don't want to have to work for somebody else anymore. So she decided to start her own restaurant, opened up her own pizza restaurant, actually had 2 locations. And she's been unemployable ever since and has owned her own business ever since then. But she got started probably about 20 years ago in the network marketing industry. And whenever I met her, gosh, it's been 17, 18 years ago now, she was actually the national training director for a network marketing company. So she's got a lot of business experience. She has experience with the industry. She's got a lot of training experience, which we get to reap the benefit of. But within David Allen Capital, she is an area director. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce Miss Ellen Winn. So I'm going to let you take it away, Ellen.
Awesome. Thank you, Harlequin. I appreciate that. And I always love listening to you go back on the backstory with me. Yeah, absolutely. I am unemployable. Once you've had a real taste of freedom, and that's working for yourself and not having a boss and not having a time clock to punch, if you have the motivation and desire to be successful, then there's no going back. And that's where I am. Once I got that taste of freedom from corporate America and owning and operating my own businesses, man, there was no going back. But I hit a point at a huge burnout with the restaurant industry. And that's when I was open to looking at other things. In fact, when I first got started with network marketing, I had been talking with a friend saying, you know, I'm really hitting burnout here, but I don't know what else to do, because restaurants had been my life from getting out of high school, going to college. I went to bartending school, and that started me on a long career path in the restaurant industry, from local restaurants and bars, as a bartender and as a manager there in the restaurants, to moving on into Domino's and all the years that I worked with them. So prior to me in my 6.5-year run owning my own business. So that little conversation with a friend planted a seed that caused her to introduce me to someone that she knew had been very successful as an entrepreneur. And once I connected with those 2 ladies, the rest is history, because they opened my eyes to the network marketing model and how much money and how much success and how much time freedom you could have if you truly applied yourself. They had made millions in the network marketing space, and they too were in a business services type industry. In fact, they were in the insurance space with A.L. Williams, which went on to become Primerica, right? But they were working with A.L. Williams, and they had a little presentation. They'd go sit down with clients and take them through their insurance options, very much what I envision us doing with the DAC model as we add additional services here in the very near future. But I'm super excited that you're here. If this is your first time joining us, again, welcome to DAC. Now, each week we do these Zooms at 8 o'clock Eastern time on Monday, and this is an opportunity for you as a part of my organization to be able to get to know me a little bit more, know how our team systems can help you grow and expand your business, and give you an opportunity to ask questions that you may not have had a chance to get on the floor and ask during the daytime Zooms that we do on Mondays and Fridays with our company founder, David Russ. So I always start off our Zooms with our recognition. So let me get us into screen share mode, and I'll go ahead and get those that PowerPoint up. And we should have that screen up. Let me see, Harlequin. Is that good? Thank you. All right. So we have our superheroes with the DAC uniform on, and we're talking about our team recruiting. This is for the week of December the 12th through December the 18th. And I didn't put the ranking there on the left. Every week I get in a hurry and do something. But in first place, we had Eric Johnson. He had 15 new recruits. Second place, I came in with 10 new recruits for the week. In third place, we had a tie between Harlequin Murray and Nicholas Cranstown, each with 2 new agent recruits. So congratulations to the 4 of us on the leaderboard there. Now, you had to have at least 2 agent recruits to make it to the leaderboard, but as a team, we had at least 26 people had at least 1 new recruit for a total of 51 new agents for the week. And I think the previous week we had 53 new recruits. So kind of status quo on our recruiting numbers. But if you're paying attention to what's going on right now and the announcements that were made last Friday, where DAC is taking its own path, man, this is an exciting time to be a part of this company. So I want to get into we've got a couple of new promotions, people that have ranked up, as we call it, or leveling up. They've gone up a level in the compensation plan. I want to recognize them. And our first promotion is going to DAC 1, and that is to get to DAC 1. When all of us get started as a new agent, we don't have any rank whatsoever other than independent agent. So to move up in the DAC compensation plan on the DAC bonuses, to go to DAC 1, you have to have 1 qualified funding. What is a qualified funding? That is a client that gets 1 funding, or a combination of giggle clients all combined in 1 month, or a line of credit that totals $6,000 in funded value. So 1 funded client at $6,000 for regular funding or biddy advance, a cumulative giggle fundings for $6,000 to count as 1 qualified funding, or a line of credit draw that equals $6,000 in funded value. That's going to be the qualifying client. So you have to have 1 client plus a total of at least $10,000 in funded value. So some people, it may take a couple of clients or maybe 3 or 4 fundings to actually get to $10,000 in funded value to get to DAC 1. But this week we want to recognize Jessica Washington for hitting DAC 1. So congratulations, Jessica. Do you know if she is on the line with us tonight, Harlequin?
I don't see her on there, and I was not able to reach her.
Gotcha.
So I apologize,
No worries.
Jessica. But
no worries. Well, sometimes we're doing this at the last minute, trying to make sure people can get on, and sometimes they want to be on, but they don't have the ability because they have other obligations. So in our next recognition, we have a promotion to DAC 2, and DAC 2 is just taking it another step up beyond DAC 1. And that is, to get to DAC 2, you have to have at least 2 qualified fundings with a total funded value of at least $20,000. So this week, we just recognized this young lady a few weeks ago for getting to DAC 1, and now she has moved up to DAC 2, and that is QT Square. She goes by Q. I talked with Q the other day. She's had quite a few applications coming through, and Not all of them are processing. Some of them get to the very last stage and they're getting declined. So we talked about why that could be, right? And there are a lot of things that can go into that, but mainly when they get down to that very final funding stage, it could be them, the lender, wanting to look at the bank account to make sure that it's not negative. They'll do a bank review or bank verification, or it could be something in the background check that showing that they're banned in our lending network, or they have a criminal history that would prevent them from being able to borrow from our lender network. So QT has been working really hard, putting clients through the system, and real proud of her. And I'm not sure, do you see Q on here? Q, if you're listening and can raise your hand, will you please do that so that I can let you speak? I know we talked the other day, I told her I would be recognizing her today, but I haven't spoken with her today. Okay. And Bruce, I see you've got your hand up. We'll take questions at the end of the slideshow here. Okay. Let's go on into the next portion. And I want to do a quick run through on this. I've done it before, but just as a reminder, and for those of you that are new or still learning, I want to make sure that you understand where this takes as you rank up in the comp plan. Okay. And this is on the funding bonuses where you can earn 3 to 6%. What just happened with Jessica and Q is they've moved up a rank here, so they're earning extra money on top of their funding. So in this example of $80,000 funding, the standard compensation plan is 3%. If you're amped up and have had a client within the past 30 days, a qualifying client over 6,000 or more, then amped up, you earn double. So that would be 6%. But Jessica just got moved to DAC 1, and that means that she now gets a 10% match on her own commission. So on these funding bonuses, if she were engaged, which you have to be engaged at least to earn these extra bonuses, if she were engaged, she would earn an extra 10% of the 3%, which equates to a total of 3.3. If she were amped up, that extra 10% on top of the 6 would be 6.6% would make. All right. Now QT's got promoted to DAC 2, which means she gets an extra 15%. So again, on top of that standard 3%, if she's engaged, 3 times 15% gives an extra 0.45 percentage point on that bonus compensation. So Q will now be making 3.45% as long as she's engaged. And if amped up, she'll be making 6.9% of the funded value. So as you can see, you can quickly move through the ranks. Now, I want to remind everybody we have auto engaged going through the end of this month. So a couple more weeks, you can keep recruiting and you'll get paid on those first 2 funded deals of your new agents, no matter when those fundings take place. And I think I slid that slide in there. I've got another compensation I don't want to cover. We've also got the Christmas cash bash that's going through the end of this week. It ends on the 22nd. So any fundings that you close and get paid out to the customer by the 22nd will count towards this to earn the extra bonuses. And this is on top of any bonuses that you're earning on the fundings anyway. You have to have at least 2 fundings and a total of $100,000 cumulative out of 2 qualified fundings. You'll earn an extra 1%. If you had a total of 3 fundings and a total of 150,000 in cumulative value, you'll get a bonus of an extra 2%. And if you had 4 fundings, a total of 250,000, you'll get an extra 3%. And if you had 5 total fundings with a total funded value of 500,000, you'll get an extra 4% bonus. And those bonuses will be paid out on Friday, this coming Friday, if any of you qualify. So hopefully we'll see some of you getting some of those bonus checks there. Okay. And I'm going to stop screen share for a second because I had a couple of other slides that apparently I didn't unhide. I want to pull them back up in the presentation here. Give me a second. Yep, that's what I did. I didn't unhide them. think my phone rang and I got sidetracked. There we go. Okay, let me pull this back up because it's back. I just showed you what we do in the, excuse me, on funding bonuses. And I wanted to take you through that same scenario on the extra money that you make if you're promoting ERCs, because get this, I had one of my frontline agents who's a dear friend of mine today gave me an update on one of her ERC clients. It's a local restaurant that I go to on a regular basis. She goes to on a regular basis, and her partner actually works there. So when I started talking to her about the ERC program, and I said, you know, this will be a great way for you to help some business owners in our local community and put some significant money back in your pocket. That was the first business that she went and talked to, which is this local restaurant. They're a Mexican restaurant. They have 2 locations. And I got an update today that they have qualified for $412,500 back on that ERC bonus or ERC refund. So that's a huge amount of money going back to that business owner. But what does that mean for the new agent that enrolled that client in the ERC and is helping them get that money back? So as a reminder, ERC bonuses pay 4 to 6%, right? 4 to 6% of the funded value. Let me get it into screen share here in a bigger slideshow. There we go. It's 4 to 6%. And that equates to 4% base commission or 20% of the 20% contingency fee. So our CPA team charges 20% of the refund amount to the client. So when this client gets that $412,500 check back from the IRS, they will receive an invoice from our CPAs and they'll write out a check to them for 20% of that. Okay. That 20% contingency fee, we earn 20% of. So I always say this too, a lot of the ERC companies out there that are doing this and giving you an independent agent opportunity, a lot of them are saying, well, we're paying you 10%. 10% of what? Most of them are paying 10% of the contingency fee. Or I've seen one that was paying 15% of the contingency fee, but I've not seen anybody that's paying as much as DAC is or more. I've seen it some that are paying 4% total, but they're not paying more. But DAC pays more than 4%. So that's what I wanted to show you this slide for. Okay. So here's how it works. When you get to DAC 1, actually this $400,000 credit, 4% is $16,000. The example I just gave you, this is a real business getting back $412,500. That agent for that referral is going to get $16,500. That's real life commission going to be coming back to her. But now when that funding gets paid in her pocket, if she doesn't have another funding prior to then, it's going to at least rank advance her to DAC 1. As a reminder, on our ERCs, there's no personal amped bonuses there, but you can earn the amped overrides on your personally enrolled agents. But as a DAC 1, you get that extra 10% match on the 4%. So a DAC 1, Jessica, if you're promoting ERCs, now you'll earn 4.4% of that credit amount. Okay. And Q, now that you're a DAC 2, 15% of the original 4% equates to an extra 0.6%. So as a DAC 2, you earn 4.6% of that credit amount, right? And then on as a DAC 4, you would earn 7.8%. So I just wanted to cover those first two since those were the rank advances that we had tonight. And I will close out the sharing screen. Let me get that down. Stop share. Okay. That's what I had for the slideshow tonight. So I thought I would just open up the floor for discussion on what's going on with our new changes here. Unless, let me ask you, Harlequin, is there anything that you wanted to add before we go to Q&A on anything that I've covered or didn't cover?
No. One thing that I will say, I was speaking with Wade earlier today, and for those of you who have clients that are in trucking or construction, right now until spring comes and people start building again, they will probably not be able to get a line of credit. So just know that going in, and I wouldn't recommend promoting that right now, but let them know that, hey, go ahead now, get some funding, have a track record, build your business up, and then whenever it is reopened again, then you'll be
Okay.
able to.
Oh, that affects the line of credit only, not funding, right? So we can still promote to those industries, just don't be promoting line of credit specifically.
Right. Yeah. Promote getting a regular working capital funding and use that money to build their income up so that whenever they do reopen that for those two industries, that they'll be more likely to qualify for it.
Got it. Okay,
So
awesome.
you don't want to set the expectation that, oh yeah, you can get it whenever they're not doing it. So
Exactly. Okay. Thank you for that, Harlequin. All right. So I see Bruce has his hand up. What do we have tonight, Bruce? I'm going to ask you to unmute. Are you there, Bruce Campbell? I see you unmuted. I'm not hearing you. Bruce, are you there? Maybe you have your microphone muted. All right, while you're working on that, I'm going to go to Ray. I'm going to mute you, and then you can figure out what your microphone issues are. And I'm going to go on over to Ray. So Ray, I'm going to ask you to unmute. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good, Ellen. Before I go any further, I don't know what's going on. I didn't get no notification from you, so I don't know what's going on my end. I checked my spam box and everything, but
well, I tell you what, I'm going to send you a link so that you can resubscribe, because my system is showing that my emails are going out to you like we tested last week.
Yeah, I saw that. That's just weird. That's just really weird. Okay, that'd be fine. Okay. Well, I watched the Friday morning call on last week because I had to work, so I wasn't able to get on the call. But I listened in as much as what I could understand. So I have about 4 questions from the call.
Okay.
First question, he mentioned something about customer acquisition. So I'm just trying to understand what he meant about, I can't remember on one time mark he explained that, but what did he mean by doing customer acquisition?
Yeah, so I think you're probably referencing where he's talking about other models and company. He always makes the reference to the network marketing model that a lot of other companies in this space are about internal consumption. Okay, where other companies, because they have a startup fee and products and stuff that are internally consumed, people are buying those startup packages and they are subscribing to it on an auto ship every month and aren't having to get outside customers. But DAC is all about client acquisition, meaning we're all about getting customers or clients that are not part of the pay plan. And that's what really makes a network marketing company a legitimate company, right? Having outside customers, those companies that are doing internal consumption only and are buying products in their own company just to stay qualified and eligible to earn commissions, are really risking getting in trouble with the FCC. Or FTC. So that's what he's talking about, getting outside clients. And he's talking about being eligible for the compensation as he's rewriting a compensation plan specifically for us, where we're not going to have our residual plan tied to longevity like we did in the past. He's talking about it's all going to be customer client acquisition based, where you're going to be eligible for levels in the compensation plan and eligible for your engaged and amped up status based on client acquisition. It's exactly what we're doing today. Meaning you aren't eligible to earn on your team if you haven't acquired customers of your own, or you haven't, if you haven't done your personal client acquisition, you're not eligible today. So that's what he's talking about, just getting clients.
Okay. I know you mentioned about longevity and DAC, and there'll be separate logins. So if will we still be able to market longevity, or will we be doing
Yeah,
monthly
absolutely.
payments? Will we
Absolutely.
be doing?
So those of you that signed up through David Allen Capital link, which I assume that unless you're in this Zoom tonight as an outside visitor because you've heard about our team Zooms through one of the corporate Zooms, you all came in through David Allen Capital. Bottom line, if you signed up on the Partner with Us page at David Allen Capital and you received a welcome email saying welcome to David Allen Capital, that's how you came in. So that means you're in DAC automatically. And because we are tied with or united with longevity through the end of this year, that means you're in the DAC database and also in the longevity database. Moving forward, after January the 1st, anybody that signs up through David Allen Capital will only be in David Allen Capital. New people, but those of us that are already here, we're in David Allen Capital and longevity. So after January 1st, sign up with DAC. They'll no longer be added to the longevity database like we have been. So right now, every one of us are part of both companies. And in answer to your question, Ray, yes. If you want to continue marketing longevity, you can certainly do that. I intend to do that. I use their nutritional products every month. And I've talked about the 90 for Life product that really helps me with my eyesight. I can tell a difference on my vision when I take it and when I forget to take it. So I'll continue doing that. You will have 2 separate logins. You know, the login that we have right now for our back office, that is the longevity back office. So when we launch the DAC back office in January, you'll have a new login for that, and that'll be specific to your David Allen Capital business, which I'm super excited about that back office coming, because right now the report systems are very clunky as a team leader. And if those of you on the Zoom, if you have anybody in your organization that gets a funding and has customers and so on, you know what I'm talking about. But if you don't have a team, you don't realize how clunky that longevity back office is for us, because it wasn't built for tracking funding clients and all the services. It was built for tracking nutritional products and consumer products, right? So I can't wait to have the new back office so that we get those real-time reports, not only on our own clients, but we're going to have access to see reports on our team's activity that we've never had access to. So that's really exciting. But yeah, you'll have 2 separate logins. Also, if you're going to be building longevity and want to make money there, then you'll have to qualify through the longevity pay plan with either promoting products, or you can qualify by purchasing products. I stay qualified in the longevity plan to earn residuals just from my own product purchases every month. So that'll be the one difference there.
So when you once that changes, would there be a different login for longevity as well?
Your login right now will be the same with longevity. You'll just have a new back office with DAC.
So
right?
I will still be using the same information to log in longevity.
Yes, that's not going to change.
And so being that you're saying to qualify for a pay plan and purchasing, there won't be no auto ship or nothing that we would have to pay, will we?
If you want to build in longevity and you want to promote their products and you have volume in your longevity business, you'll need to qualify, and that'll be with either 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, or up to 300 in qualifying volume points, just like the residual plan that we have now is showing, because that is the longevity residual plan. But yeah, if you've got a team and people in your organization and you want to earn on that residual check, you'll have to have those points, whether it's auto ship for you or whether you're selling it to an outside customer and it's on auto ship. That's product purchases that have to be made or product sales that have to be made every single month, because at the beginning of the month, your clock counts back to 0 and you have to add new product purchases or new renewals or auto ships that are going to bill sometime during that new month to give you those new points. That's the longevity comp plan. What's coming with DAC? I don't know yet. I have a little bit of inkling to it, but David has not released any of that. And he will be releasing that when he has it all locked in. And we'll go through the new and exciting ways that we can qualify. I can't wait because it's been, you know, David talked about the two models really not meshing together, the different services versus products, and it never has completely meshed the way that I would have hoped or would have thought that it would, right? Because people will come in and they were either focused on DAC or focused on longevity, and it's like they didn't want to blend the two, right? Other than myself and Harlequin and a few other people in the team that saw the value of the longevity products. So I'm looking forward to that, just a different focus altogether, 100% DAC.
Well, could you also, my other thing was, could you kind of elaborate, because he mentioned about automated compensation. So what did he mean by that? I mean,
repeat that now?
He said something about automated compensation on the thing on Friday.
Yeah, so you don't realize this, but every commission that goes out right now, David is manually calculating that commission. He's manually looking at it and saying, oh, this person got a funding for $9,000. They're currently qualified as a DAC 1. Here's their pay level. Were they amped? Were they engaged? And all of that stuff that would impact their pay. He's manually calculating that. So when we go to this new back office, which was built for network marketing company and is built around supporting a service-based company like DAC is, then they will automatically be able to program those different commissions in there. Again, the back office we've been using has been longevity, and it's intended for products and auto ship, and it wasn't built to handle this type volume that we get and the different coding that we have of whether you're engaged or whether you're amped up and all that. So that's where David had to manually calculate that, but it'll automatically be built into the programming of the new back office. For all of us, it really doesn't mean anything other than now our CEO and founder is not having to spend time calculating commissions every day. It'll be automatically done where it frees his time up to do other things. Plus we need that automation on it so that as DAC explodes with growth, then that's just part of the automatic calculation.
Okay. Well, I'd say, well, I'll let the others go. I have like one or two others, but I'll let the other two.
No, go ahead. Whatever you're asking, I'm sure other people have the same questions.
Okay. So he mentioned about continued education. And I wanted to know, like, okay, so if he's bringing that into the DAC, and I understand that, if let's say you don't do the continued education yet, could you still do funding? Will you be able to still do funding and, while you're in the process of getting a continued education? Or if you don't do it, would it be a hindrance to, doing any funding in the future?
Yeah, so I don't have the specifics on this, but I know that I personally have had many offline conversations with David because as a team leader, it's very frustrating for me, and Harlequin can vouch for this. When you have a large team of people getting started that aren't willing to take the time to go through the training platform, it does a couple of things. As a team leader, it's very frustrating because I get questions throughout the week from people that it's very obvious once they send a couple of messages or we have a verbal conversation, it's quite obvious very quickly that they haven't gone through the training, or if they did, they didn't pay attention to the training, right? So one of my pet peeves as a leader and one of my requests as a leader with David and our system was trying to find a way that would force people to go through the training and not just sign up as a free agent and automatically get your free links and you're out here marketing and talking about our services, yet have not been through training and therefore have no clue about what you're talking about, right? So that's my frustration. I see it and feel it every single day as I looked. I have over 13,000 agents in my organization. Now, a very small percentage of them are active, so understand I'm not supporting 13,000 people, but it does mean that I get questions back from over 100 people a day about this or about that. And my most frequent response is, have you gone through the training? Because their questions just the single question to me is obvious that they haven't gone through the training, right?
Right.
So
Right.
that qualification that you're referring to, Ray, there will be stages of training that will be required for people to go to, whether it be you get a basic website without a funding link on it to begin with. That was my request. I said, is there a way where we don't turn on these products for them to market until they go through some basic video training so they have a basic understanding? For you guys on here that are building and helping us build a brand with DAC, you should want that in place as part of our process, because obviously you're here tonight. So you're taking time to go through and spend time and getting yourself educated, right? And if we require this for the entire agent field, that they have to go through this training and not make it optional, then that helps us as a brand, because then we don't have rogue agents out here that I just described that sign up, get their free link, and then they're out talking about it and trying to send out stuff, and they're making a bad name for DAC because they don't know what they're talking about. So that is yet to be determined. David is in process, not only with what he sees as the vision for DAC and being able to have those stages of qualifications and recertification on an annual renewal basis, but also it's going to be based on what the limitations are of our limitations and capabilities are of our new software with that new back office that we have in place. I know the company that is doing that software, and I know that software has the capability to turn on different pages or turn them off if you aren't certified to market that particular product.
Okay.
So, but I don't know how long it'll take for that to be implemented with what we're doing moving forward. So I guess you just sit back and wait. But that's what he's talking about with that certification. It's not to make
so
it
with us already being in the company, we would still go through the continuing education as well, or that's only for the people
and
coming
understand it's not going to be difficult. It is not going to be difficult. The training that we have right now, Ray, is not difficult.
No,
the problem
not.
is, the problem is too many people don't go through it. So we just want to make sure that those of us that are really wanting to market DAC go through some simple qualification training and answer some questions that you got to pass and know what you're talking about to be able to move on through. Or, at one point he's mentioned this on live calls too, saying, look, if all you want to do is be an affiliate and just market links and not be a professional and support your team, David has suggested that may affect the compensation plan. But I'm throwing out things that he's talked about publicly on our team, on our corporate Zooms in the past, as ways of, things that he's thought about on how we draw it in to really make that training piece critical piece for every new agent that gets started. So
I understand.
Compensation drives behavior. And if somebody's going to make half commission because they haven't gone through training and just want to be an affiliate, and again, don't mistake this for what is happening. I really have no clue what is happening. Just kind of repeating some of the ideas that have been tossed around on some of our Zooms.
Okay. And one last thing, when I was on the last call last Monday, and I talked about that click button for, if somebody's working, did you ever get in touch? Did you ever communicate with Dave about that?
On the click to call?
Yes.
I did. And I'm glad you asked that. So as we were chatting through that, think about this. Your information is already on your website right now. So people can call you if they just look at your website and they want to talk to you. They can look at your phone number and call you anyway, right?
Right.
And if somebody's calling you now and you're at work, what happens to that call?
Goes to the voicemail.
Goes to voicemail. So it would be no different if that click to call is activated on the website and somebody clicks to call you. You just want to make sure that you have a professional and appropriate voicemail set up. In fact, I told Dave, I said, that would be a great training point for the entire company, is to talk about voicemails. Because a lot of times I get messages from an agent and I'll call them. And when it goes to voicemail, either their voicemail's not set up, so it's saying, you have reached 770, and it tells me their number instead of a voice message, right? Or their voicemail is full and I can't leave a message. Well, hello, that's not very professional, right? It's kind of sends the message that you're not taking care of business if you're not returning calls and emptying your voicemail.
True.
Or they have a voicemail that's not appropriate. They have music playing in the background and they're going, yo, what's happening? This is Frank. You know what to do at the beat. Crazy stuff that is okay if it's your personal phone and that's what you want your friends to hear. But when you're in business for yourself, that's not appropriate. So you need to think about the voicemail message that your clients are hearing now if they see your website and call, but the click to call is just going to drive the ability for them to see your phone number more out front. If they're on their mobile phone right now, they have to turn the phone up sideways to be able to see your phone number, right? That click to call button will probably be prominent no matter whether they have it in portrait or landscape mode. So
okay, well, I appreciate it so much.
Yeah, you bet. That was a great question though.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay. All right. And let's go to Cherry. Hey, Cherry. How?
Hello, good evening. How are you doing? Can you hear me? I can't hear you.
Ellen, you muted
I
yourself.
see. I got muted. Harlequin
Okay.
did that to me.
Hi, how are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Question. For an example, now, for example, if I opt in to DAC from longevity and my upline decides not to opt in, who am I under? Who's my upline in DAC? Who would that be?
Well, if there's not an upline, then you would be direct with the company.
Okay.
With DAC. If there's no one above you in longevity that opts in, and if you came in through longevity, which I'm assuming is
Yes.
what the case, right?
Mhm.
If no one in your upline that is currently earning on you right now, if they don't opt in, then you would be kind of frontline to David Allen Capital.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you bet. And I don't know who your upline is, but that wouldn't be very wise of them because I know what you're going to do with DAC.
Yes, thank you.
You bet. Thanks for the question.
Sure.
All right. Anybody else have questions or comments before we wrap up? We got a quiet group tonight. That's okay. And that's all good because I know.
Bruce is unmuted again.
Okay, let's see. All right, asking to unmute. Wait,
He's
that was
already
Jay.
unmuted.
Well,
Bruce, are you there? I don't see Bruce. If you're seeing him, go ahead and get him unmuted, Harlequin.
He is
I see Jay
unmuted.
Plummer's hand up.
He is unmuted. I heard him.
Bruce, are you unmuted? Bruce, I see you are unmuted, but we're still not hearing you. Maybe you have your microphone muted, or one other thing you want to check, if you'll look at your Zoom screen in the bottom left corner, you have a microphone and you have a camera function. If you'll hit the up arrow next to the microphone, it shows you which microphone options. Maybe you have a couple of different options and you've got the wrong one selected that's allowing you to go through. Like right now, I have a microphone right in front of me, and I also have a built-in microphone with my camera. So when I plug in the separate mic, I have to make sure that that's what's selected. And that I've got your hand up, Bruce, but I'm not hearing you. Your microphone is showing unmuted on our end. You want to try talking? Yeah, I'm not able to hear you, Bruce. We're going to. And Bruce, if you want to type your question into the chat, is that open, Harlequin? Can he send you a message?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go to Jay Plummer. Hey, Jay, have you
Hey, what's
recuperated
cooking?
from your workout?
Not really. It's been an ongoing 2 weeks of my personal trainer kicking my butt. My God. But anyways, he's doing a great job, and I'm getting more and more energy every day. So that's good. But
I love
wanted
it.
to
So
let
you went to GoPro and you're giving your mind to work out and
Yeah.
getting yourself in
Yeah.
shape to really build this business mentally. Now you're getting in great physical shape too. So
That's
you have
right.
stamina to build this business. I love it.
That's right. Anyways, I just wanted to give you a little, just a little story that's kind of funny. I got my Connect cards today, and I just wanted to share this. I went to an HVAC distributor company because I don't know if you know this, but I was a general contractor for many years. And of
Bless
course, I know this distributor, and they do a lot of business with big HVAC companies all the time. And I said, hey guys, do you mind if I drop these Connect cards off, and let me leave a stack of them here for any of your customers that might need them? And they're like, yeah. And I started explaining it to them, and of course there's people in line listening to this, and nobody approached me, nobody said anything to me. And after I walked out of the building and I got in my truck, I sat there for a minute, and I noticed 5 or 6 people come out of the building with my Connect cards underneath their receipts. And I could tell, because obviously you can tell that they're Connect cards, but they were very intently listening. So guys, get out to those local distributors, because those are the guys that deal with the big boys, the HVAC guys. And you can go to the electrical contractors, the distributors, and talk to them, and leave your Connect cards there, because I haven't gotten anything yet on it, because I just got them today, but I have a feeling it's going to be a wildfire. So anyways, just wanted to share that story, and I thought it was funny. And everybody that got Connect cards, I hope, got domain names, because that's really important. David covered that. And if you don't have a domain name, guys, get one, because it's worth it. It's worth every cent. You can point it to whatever you want to point it to. It doesn't matter what David changes his website address to. We can point it to whatever we want to. So get these Connect cards, but get a domain name before you get them, because it's going to be worth it. It's going to be worth it. Anyways, that's all I had to say. I just wanted to share.
Absolutely. Great story. Thanks for sharing that, Jay.
Yes, ma'am.
And for those of you that are listening and aren't familiar with domains, I have a training on that. And I also am an affiliate with a different domain provider. I don't like GoDaddy. I used to use GoDaddy, and I've spent thousands of dollars with them over the years. But over time, I found a better domain and domain provider, and they do web hosting and everything. They're cheaper on the initial purchase, but most importantly, they're cheaper on the renewals. GoDaddy will give you a really cheap start price for the first year, and then their renewals are just through the roof. And when you have hundreds of domain names like I do, it gets expensive if you don't have a cost-effective provider. Plus, the one I use has free SSL. They do free private, where you buy a domain and nobody can see who is actually the owner of that domain. They do free email redirect, and you can have unlimited subdomains. Harlequin mentioned a subdomain on there today. So you can buy one domain, spend less than $10 on it, and you can create additional domain subdomains with it. For example, you guys see me using zoom.ellenwin.link. Zoom, the part before the dot, the Zoom dot, that's a subdomain. I also have a subdomain for my domain training. It's domains, DOMAINS.ellenwin.link. You can go there and watch a video where I explain what a domain is, how to use a subdomain, and how to set up and redirect that over. Just as Jay was saying, you can point it to any website that you want. So if you need domain training, go to domains, plural, .ellenwin.link, and you'll be able to get that training there. All right, we're going to give Bruce another shot here. See if you can unmute this time. Bruce? I see you're unmuted. Can't hear you. Bruce, I'm sorry you're having difficulty with your microphone tonight. It's just not working for you. All right, while you're still working on that, I'm going to go back
He's
over to
actually
Deborah.
put something in the chat. He's not going to be able to talk. He's having
Yep.
problems with his
Yep.
settings.
Okay. All right. So let's go to Deborah. Hey, Deborah, how are you tonight?
I'm great. Can you hear me?
I can. Yes, loud and clear.
Awesome. I don't have a question. I actually hit the button by accident, but I also want to say just thank you for getting me on this call tonight. I really appreciate all the information. And I think you're absolutely right in saying that before anyone should talk to someone, they should absolutely know what we're doing, what the products are, and so forth. And so that's what I'm here for. So thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. Well, thank you for that comment, and glad you accidentally raised your hand. I love it. All right. And Harlequin, did we see Bruce's comment there? Bruce, if not, you're welcome to reach out to me directly. I told you your sponsor is not interactive, and just treat me as if I'm your sponsor. So reach out with any questions that you have. Okay. Send me an email and we can connect. All right. I see has a hand up. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Is that right,
Yes, it's Can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, Ellen, for everything that you do for us. Appreciate it. I got my first ERC email. It was a restaurant that I passed out my flyers at.
Awesome.
And I see the first step that they took, but I reached out to them through I text and I tried calling, but no response. Do you have any advice on what else I could do?
Yeah, I would try again, right? And if it's a restaurant, be mindful of the time of day that you're trying to reach them.
Mhm.
Even though it may be the owner, they may be like I was back in my restaurant days, where I was very interactive during lunchtime and dinner, what we call lunch rush and dinner rush. So if you're in that 10:30 to 1:30 window, they're probably busy and not going to be able to take a call. So call either before or after. A lot of times with restaurants, once you get to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, between 2 and 4 is a great time to reach an owner with a restaurant. So I would look at that. If you can't get them by phone or by text, you've got their email address as well. Certainly email them, but there's a possibility that they fell through the crack and are getting a message that they don't qualify because they didn't answer all the questions correctly. And you just want to make sure that they're moving on over. I typically ask in that, hey, just wanted to reach out. I see that you started the employee retention credit application on my website. I just wanted to reach out and make sure that you were able to connect with our CPAs so that you can get your questions answered. That's usually my first contact with them, whether it be by phone or by text or by email, just quick and short. I see you got started. Want to make sure that you made it through to connect with our ERC team to get your questions answered, and then let them talk, and they'll say, oh, well, actually I didn't qualify, or I did, or I got here and I got stuck. So you reaching out to them, making sure that they got over there is very important. So good job getting that started. Just be persistent until you connect with them.
Yes, definitely. I did exactly what you just said via text and phone call. So I'm going to go ahead and send out an email now.
Yeah. And if it's a local business in your neighborhood, just pop in one day.
It's actually 3 hours away because I was
okay. Well, you don't want to do that one then.
Yeah, I was down south visiting my parents, and I was like, okay, let me give it a try. So I walked around town in the restaurant row, and I just went out and handed out some flyers, and I made some good contacts.
Good. Absolutely. One of them has already started that process. So yeah, just be persistent with it. And you know what? Even I find that even though they get on through and they're starting the process, they'll get to uploading half of their documents and they get stuck and they don't go back to it for a week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks sometimes, just because they're busy and they're juggling so many things. So just be persistent. You're there to nudge and encourage them along to make sure that they're receiving every penny that's due back to them, and always make the focus about them, and you're trying to help them get the money that is due to them. And they'll be open to hearing from you if you make it about them and what type of refund they may have available.
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for the question. I got James Doswell with a hand up. Hey, James, how are you tonight?
Hey, everybody, I'm fine. You guys can hear me?
Can hear you. Yes.
Great. Happy Monday. Yes, indeed. Harlequin, really quick. When you were speaking with Wade and he was talking about construction, is that just, okay, the bigger contractors, or are we talking everybody, plumbers, electrician, remodeling? Did he kind of specify a little bit?
No, he said in general construction. And they may end up having to even be in business for 3 years.
Oh,
Whenever they reopen it. So, right now construction is slowing down in
Well,
a
yeah.
lot of the country, like in South Dakota, you probably really would have a hard time trying to pour a foundation right now. So a lot of that industry is dropped dramatically. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, reminder, that's only lines of credit, not working
Yeah.
capital.
right.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
So, and that it's been more difficult for construction and for trucking to get a line of credit than other industries, just because they're so up and down, and they don't have the consistency of revenue like a lot of other industries do.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You bet.
I wanted to just give everybody the short version of the Friday Zoom. Okay. What I heard David say was this: anybody that's seriously interested in massive residual income, this is it. The yes DAC and the words that he used, he's talking massive. Okay, if you understand massive, he's talking massive residual income. Now, let me ask this question. Just from everybody's general knowledge, what businesses out there, business categories, make the most money? It's the ones that got customers that pay every month. Insurance companies, medical companies, utilities, phone companies, because they pay every month. And if you remember when AOL first started, not everybody, but a lot of people were saying, a lot of people are supposed to be in the know, were saying, okay, how is this company going to make money for $19.95 a month? Okay, well, it didn't take long before AOL was everywhere. People were paying every month and they were happy. And then AOL started buying other companies.
James, we have people on here tonight who have no idea who AOL is.
That's because they're youngsters, okay?
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I mean, you're exactly right. And David reiterated that today about, if you're serious about making a significant income, just focus on one thing. And I love the analogy that he gave about the pro players. He said very few, he named 2 people that had participated in 2 pro sports, right? Football and baseball. And what was it? Basketball, baseball. Focus on one thing and make that your one thing. And y'all all know I have a limousine company right now, and my goal is to sunset my limo business personally, working that by the end of first quarter, if not sooner, this coming year, because I know where DAC is headed, and I don't want the distraction anymore of trying to juggle those two. So for those of you that are listening here tonight that have other businesses, you're an affiliate marketer with another company, or you're trying to juggle 2 or 3 income opportunities online because you have online skills. I want you to think about how much money would you be making if you seriously focused on just DAC and you leveraged your ability to make every penny available to you here with DAC, rather than a little bit of money here this month and a little bit of money here, a little bit of money here. Because I know we got some really good marketers on our team, and I know that they're constantly doing 2 or 3 different things at a time. So I challenge you, take a look at what you're spending your time and energy on and see what you could really do if you focus and got serious about this one thing called David Allen Capital. Within the next year, we will have agents making several $100,000 a month within the next year if they get busy and get serious. I've already given the example of how you could be earning $1 million, and Harlequin corrected me last week and said, well, that number is, I was just giving you a low ball, right? If you did 1 ERC client a day over the course of the next 12 months, 1 a day, 5 days a week, you'd be making over $1 million in personal commission. What if you had 10 agents on your front line that did that and you earned up to a 50% match on what they did, right? So that could be millions of dollars in income that you and a team could be making over just the next 12 months. If you're not believing that and you're not thinking about that, I think you're thinking too small. You're not thinking big enough and having a big enough dream of what the potential is here with DAC. So that's my my wish for you, is that you open up your mind and you don't be thinking small. Don't let other people shut down your imagination. Don't let other people shut down your dream. And don't you dare listen to people telling you that this is not going to work, because I'm proof that it does work, and it is working for those of us who are working it. So be one of the winners. You're on the winning team, and we want you to win big in the coming year. A reminder, we do have a team agent update Zoom on Friday. David will be coming to us live Friday at 11:30 Eastern time at daczoom.com, as we normally do going into Christmas weekend. So you guys have a blessed week. Harlequin, last chance if you have anything to throw in before we wrap up.
Hello,
No.
Alan. Can you hear me? Bruce Campbell.
Hey, there's Bruce. We got a microphone working. Okay, go ahead, Bruce.
Hey, I had to dial in. I'm sorry. I had so much trouble with my Zoom, but I will try to figure out what is going on. I'll have to go over to the mobile store to see what's really going on with my phone. But you're right on target all night. And yes, I loved every subject you talked about, especially how you have to qualify with David on Capital and the different subjects that we know that you've gone through training. It's because I'm not having any problem hiring people. So the problem is they're not getting on the training videos.
Mhm.
And they are just grabbing a link, and then they are flapping their mouths, and they are breaking the law. And they're putting a bad name out there. And I don't like it either. I am a perfectionist. I'm an insurance broker, 21 years, and I'm a business owner, 7 furniture stores. I have done a lot of different things, taking companies public on the stock exchange and doing many different types of marketing online. And yes, I am a multitasker. And yes, you're absolutely right as far as focusing on David Allen Capital only. Number one. Number two, you can only handle one other thing. And that one other thing is learn how to target your market. Don't bring the wrong kind of people to the table. People that are not educated, people that are doing some kind of painting jobs or roofing or whatever. All right, these type of people a lot of times couldn't even spell a 3-letter word. I mean, they'll spell a word to me, and they'll say that they know, but they will spell the word they know K-N-O-W.
K-N-O-W.
I mean,
yeah.
they would spell it N-O-W, excuse me, N-O-W. Okay, so
and now instead of no. Yeah.
Exactly. Or it's the other way around. And when they're telling me now, they're telling me no. And I'm like, what are you actually typing? Are you looking at what you're typing? So it's very, very obvious of the type of education of people that, they come in and they just really, they don't even pay attention about what they're typing. And the other thing you really connected on was, you go to call someone back and they're hiding behind their answering machine and they are not professional. They got some dumb music going on. And, trying to communicate back and forth. That is tremendously disturbing to me. It wastes so much of my time. And so I've got to focus more instead of too much recruiting, take a percentage of the type of time I'm taking instead of teaching and recruiting and being the trainer, go sell the loans, go do the ERCs myself and target my market myself. And I will make that $1 million. I promise you that. But it's a matter of, I can't have everybody on my back that is not capable of following directions or getting into training. And to be able to go, now I love what you're saying as far as add the training module that you have to pass the training in order to be able to talk about a specific product within the company. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
it's
and
very important.
It'll be a matter of that getting implemented, Bruce. And thank you for your compliments there. It'll be a matter of that being implemented, but those are part of the things that David is wanting to implement for all of us. And I know I've certainly been asking for that and look forward to the day that it comes to be. One other thing, as you mentioned that about people getting plugged in, getting started. I had a call today. Actually, I had a text message from someone through not text, but through Facebook Messenger. They reached out to me. They're not a part of my organization. They just signed up through someone randomly on the internet, and he found me and he sent me a message. So I reached out to him, talked to him by phone. He told me who he was, where he was. And, the first thing I did was ask what training he had gone through, because he's wanting to know, what are your tips on doing this and how can you help me do this? My response is always, tell me what training you've gone through. And then they say, I've been through all of it, but they're still asking questions. And I say, well, I know it's a lot to take in. Usually that first time I find it's information overload. And I find that most people need to go back a second or maybe even a third time and really focus in, turn out all the distractions, pay attention to the training, take some really good notes, and not only listen, but listen to get the information so that you're taking it to where you can take the next step, which is implementing what you're learning. And it really puts you in a different mindset on how you're listening and how you're taking notes. If the next step is starting to implement by having conversations with people. So thank you for that, Bruce. We're going to go ahead and wrap up
Yes.
tonight. And guys, I hope to see you on Friday
Ellen?
Zoom. If not, yes, ma'am.
Sorry, Bruce kind of came in and I didn't get to say what I was going to say.
Okay.
One thing that I will say about the training, people don't panic over it. It's probably going to be about an hour long, just like our getting started right training is. And you'll have to answer a few questions. And if you get them wrong, it's not the end of the world. You just go back, watch it again, and take the test again. So it's not going to be, you're trying to get in, take your SATs or a final exam or like a real estate exam or something like that. It's not going to be that difficult. We all know how it is with the training that we have right now. It's not rocket science. So just don't panic over it, because I know some people are.
Yeah,
But,
and Ray, I see your comment, Ray, about going back through it. If you're going to go back and revisit training right now, I would revisit the training about funding, and I would revisit the training about the ERC program. Don't spend any time on the compensation plan other than what I covered tonight, because that is staying. Everything else in the compensation plan is going to be taken up a notch. And we're going to be having some new products that are added in. So don't worry about the compensation training, but be an expert and be a pro on how our funding process works, how the ERC program works. And I would also really take a good look at your payment processing page. We've got a phenomenal partner with our payment processing, and I encourage you, go back to every ERC client that you've talked to and say, hey, are you interested in seeing how you can put some additional money back in your pocket outside of what we've done for you for the ERC? And then talk to them about the payment processing and give them an opportunity there. So, all right, everybody, have a blessed evening. We will see you on Friday, I hope. If not, happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Hope you have a blessed one. And we'll see you on the next live Zoom. We will be meeting again next Monday. So we'll see you then if you don't make it Friday. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.